the conception of LRE, least restrictive environment, the idea was always about including learners with their typical peers in general education classrooms.
Great intent.
And curriculum.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting the same thing in the same place, but that's not how people interpreted it.
Yeah.
And so putting this decision on IEP teams about where LRE is ended up being problematic.
Yeah, because it turned into a very subjective decision about what LRE is. Well, I mean, always has been in the disability field, is if a student's not successful, it's from a social model, from a social perspective, it's because something in the condition isn't right, not something in the kid. But if a team is looking at a student through a medical model and they're not having success, that could be interpreted as an LRE decision as opposed to a how do we fix the conditions in the environment decision. It puts a lot of emphasis on individual student success from a medical perspective, but also it puts a really big decision on a team that have completely different philosophies. And there's really very subjective criteria about what that is. There's no requirement for people to move away from the medical model. In fact, the entire special education system is dependent on it. And so your determination of what is LRE could change depending on the teacher. And that makes for a lot of different interpretations, even if the goal has very good intent.
Do you think this is where the idea of a continuum happened?
I think continuum of services also got misunderstood. Like, to me, a continuum of services is that a student and a family gets to determine where a child goes, not that a school offers continuum of services, right? Because then the decision again to what service is being offered comes down to a very subjective panel that often don't involve the student and parent into the decision. So it's not a continuum to families and students. It's a continuum of what's available within a district for a district to choose from. That changes trajectory of students' lives. So rather than the emphasis being, if a student's not successful, the attention goes to the place, not the kid. How do we change the place? What supports are we putting into the place? And that really shifts towards that more social model. But then it gives more opportunities for students to actually decide where their placement is and where their best place is to learn.